Okay, so last time I made quite a claim that indigenous people, African American people, marginalized people seem to have a better understanding of the real world than capitalists and white supremacists. They have a better grasp of reality. They're better able to handle the world than anybody else. Well, the reason these neoliberalists, these capitalists, willfully deaf, stupid, and blind, are thrashing about in an effort to make America great again, is basically, and I'm using obviously them as a counterexample to indigenous and marginalized people. These people thrashing about at the Capitol are basically trying to capture a series of thoughts and feelings they had when they were about 10. And when you're 10, you're blissfully aware that there is this world, but you are blissfully unaware of its complexities, of its beauty, of its brutality, and its unfairness. And it's at about 10 or 11 years old, you start to realize, wait a second, my family isn't like other families. Wait a second, my neighborhood isn't like other neighborhoods. Wait a second, my culture isn't like other cultures. And what we tend to do as human beings is retreat into that core belief from 0 to age 10, basically 0 to adolescence, whenever that starts. We crawl back into that familiarity. It's called infant and childhood conditioning, if you need to use a fancy word. But we tend to, when we find these otherisms, we find these, well, that's not my religion, that's not my belief system, that's not my language system, that's not my political system, that person is not from my neighborhood, that person is not from my city, my state, my country, my language group, whatever. Those people are bad. I must retreat into who I am because them being different is a threat to what I think about myself, which was so stable and so strong. I knew who I was, and now, oh my God, I can't afford to learn about Islam because I'm a Catholic. Well, why not? Why not go and say, well, that's different. Well, that helps me appreciate more about my religion. And, well, there are pieces of that I might take. Oh, no, I can't do that because it's not what I was taught from the age of 0 to 10. Well, there's that belief system amongst these capital folks, these deaf, stupid, and blind people, that is about capturing when they were 10. That bears repetition. And there is another group of people, which I started this video off talking about, that are so tragically and consistently traumatized by the systems of our planet. And by the systems of our planet, I mean the systems of our people. They've been so hurt by reality in so many ways, almost never from their own doing, that to not be able to accurately represent reality in their minds is an exceptionally dangerous thing. To not have a good understanding of the way the world works in their heads so that they can behave in a way that keeps their survival intact. Man, if you didn't have that, those people would have all died out. So the Earth, for instance, tells us huge amounts of truth. The Earth never lies to us. Never. We might lie to ourselves about the Earth, but the Earth itself never lies to us. Well, these people can't afford to lie about the world. Again, it's a requirement for survival in a world that sees them only as disposable livestock or magical mascots. And if that's the way the world treats you, you can't afford to pretend that that's not the way the world is treating you, because it'll get you killed. It'll get you in jail. It'll get you in trouble. It'll get you sent to the principal's office, okay? And of course, all of those are intertwined. They're all one big idea. Well, this group of marginalized people has steadily gained strength because of their grip of reality. They've consistently shown better results in handling the complexity, plurality, beauty, and brutality of everyday life. They have learned for generation upon generation upon generation, for at least 500 years, of this brutal system that we have inherited from our ancestors. And they've survived it. And they have shown us how to survive, and they have knowledge, knowing, understanding on how to transform this way of life into something else. Now, again, this bears repetition as well. Their voices are like the reverberations of this earth. They cannot lie to us. These kinds of people can never afford to be out of touch with the way things are, and they have also never lost touch with the way our world could be and who we could become. They have always understood that we must love one another. We must learn to love ourselves, even in our incompleteness. And we must learn to seek to become something more, no matter what circumstances we find ourselves in. There's a lot to learn from the diversity of knowledge, knowing, and understanding. And I hope that this conversation, a series of talks I've given here today, help us understand that it's either going to be universal diversity, or it's going to be imposed unanimity, unification through a lack of diversity. Biological systems, speaking of the earth telling the truth, biological systems that have diversity do much better at staying alive than the systems that are extremely simple. If you don't believe me, go look at a rainforest compared to a terrarium in a pet shop. The rainforest, usually without human interaction, tends to do better in the long run at keeping life going than the terrarium. So what we must start to do is look out into the earth and its billions of years of history to find ways of knowledge, knowing, and understanding that can aid us in our survival going forward. To ignore that truth-telling of the earth, to ignore that reality-grasping nature of many indigenous peoples and marginalized peoples would be folly. It would be a mistake. And so I hope you join me and many, 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 many others in seeking that knowledge, knowing, and understanding as we move forward, hopefully into a more just, verdant, and equitable world, one better for all of us. Good luck to us all. We'll need it.